Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Ryan with Propelio. Today's show, Daniel's got a doctor's appointment, so it's all good. So I've got my handy-dandy Mr. Russ Keith. I know your name. He's gonna be my co-host, and today we're gonna be talking about Facebook automation marketing with Chris Chavez and Sarah Pinnock. So stick around. Hope you have enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Make sure you jump in the comments. Make sure you ask questions, and we'll get to it right after this. Hey everybody, what's up? So over there we got Sarah, in case you couldn't tell which one was which, Sarah, Chris, and Russ. So before we start, Chris wants y'all to try something out to prove the concept of what we're gonna spend a lot of detail in explaining. So go ahead and tell him what you want them to do.
Okay, great. So the post that we want you to do is we want you to go into your Facebook groups that are garage sale groups that have the most people that they have in them. Pick your largest groups. Now, in this post, you posted some scripts that we gave
scripts. You said 2 sample scripts, and they're in the description of this video.
So take those, each one or the 2, and modify it how you need. Do not write in there "we buy houses." Please stay away from that. Don't post a link in it. Post that into 3 groups, and the first few people, or we'll just go with that, that get a lead from that post, legitimate, you need to take a screenshot and post it on REI Results Automation Facebook page and on the Propelio, or post it in the comments, right?
You can post it.
You can upload an image. Post that in there, and we're going to send out a book for the first person. The second person will get a t-shirt, and the third person will get a hat.
And by lead, you're calling just
somebody who reaches out and says,
I have a house.
I have a house.
Or I know somebody.
Based off that post, they'll just say, hey, I've got a house. Or, hey, call me, or hey, contact me.
And then by a garage group, you mean like a swap and shop? You mean like
Yard
a
sales.
marketplace?
Exactly. Garage sale groups.
No, not
swap
marketplace.
and shop.
Anything
Not
that's
marketplace.
not anything that's going to be a group. So anything that's doing the sale groups. Pretty much any of them are pretty well yard sales or what you just said, swap. I don't know that many people use the swap and shop, but anyway, anything that's a yard sale.
It actually does. There's groups out there that say swap and shop, and there's
I don't know what that.
Craigslist
I've never heard
groups.
swap and shop until
The
like Corey
trading
Thompson
groups.
was like, swap and shop.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not a redneck.
And if you're not part of one, just go out there and join one really quick. Just click join, and hopefully they let you in right away. But this ought to be a lot of fun, because we're going to talk about a whole lot of fun things that we're doing that can help you make a lot of money. And so this is just kind of proof of concept live, and it's exciting.
So let me just go ahead and poke a hole in the whole concept. You said automation. Like they just had to write it themselves.
You're right. The automation comes with software. This is proof of concept that the idea behind how to generate the leads using Facebook without using the paid ads.
Okay.
So
Got
it's
it.
the automation is built in with the software that we have, but I mean, right now we're not
Right.
talking sales or anything like that. It's just a matter of we've kind of figured out how to make that happen behind the scenes
Okay.
for you.
Yeah, and to scale, to become a pro athlete or awesome like Ryan and Russ here, you had to start somewhere. So the fundamentals are what we're basically showing here.
Right.
Once you get the fundamentals down, then we can release and show you how to use the software, and it'll make total sense to you, because then you're going to like, okay, now I know how to ride a horse now that I'm running the ranch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the whole proof of concept is basically to say, after about 15, 20 minutes into listening to what this is, you'd be like, well, by the way, it does work, because we just remember that proof of concept thing we did at the very beginning?
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
So now that we have that out there for the world, if you're just joining us, what we're saying is in the description of this video, there's two posts, 2 sample posts. Take one of them, go to a random garage sale swap and shop group.
Yeah, buy, sell, trade. That's
Buy,
another
sell,
big
trade.
one.
Largest ones, the largest ones you have.
Do not say anything about buying a house. Do not tag a link. Do not do anything other than just, tweak the post as you want, throw it in there, and then hopefully by the end of this show, you'll have a lead.
by the end of the show, you should have multiple leads. But every market's different, and it's whoever takes action. So if you could say in your mind that you want this, but if you don't take action, it ain't going to happen. So if you're watching in a different market than we're in Dallas,
Fort Worth
area. If you're in another market, then it's the same concept across the board in the United States. So
there's actually multiple groups within every geographical area,
and that's just one. That's just one. And
right.
we teach people how to go into multiple groups, and there's some awesome
right.
And how to find
niches,
them.
but the main one is garage sale groups and the
Right.
Craigslist.
So my point is that if you're looking to set up your first to join one, if you haven't joined one, a lot of times you have to be approved by that person that runs that. So it may, if you're not set up, it may be kind of difficult to do this
admin
during
gods.
the show. But if you are set up, then just go in there and find the one that's got the most members.
A lot of them
and
are
put it in
public.
that one. Is that what
and
you're saying?
so
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a really good statement. So there's groups that have 10,000 people, 20, 50, 100,000 people.
Right.
And then there's groups that have like 300.
Is
So
there
if you post in that one and you go get upset, you can't. It's not apples to apples.
Is there a way to find out like how much engagement a group has? Because like I know I get added to so many groups. I actually got called out last night by TJ. What's up, TJ? So I turned his notification on his group back on because you just get added to so many groups that you just get flooded with notifications.
most of the time you're sorry.
Well, my point being is if you've got a group that has 10,000, 20,000, but there's only 5 people engaged in it, that post that we just talked about doesn't seem like that would have much validity.
You're not going to be added to groups, yard sale groups, most of the time.
Okay.
I mean, my sister adds me to them because we craft, so she adds me to all the bazillion crafting groups that she's in.
Right.
However, I have yet to, and I've got quite a few people on there that have added me to a buy, sell, trade group.
So
I mean,
if you
these
know
are ones
Sarah,
that go
add
in.
her to every single group
Yes,
you know.
please. I'm serious. No, I take that back.
Yeah, I'm in.
If it's a buy, sell, trade, or a yard sale group, add me to it.
Yeah.
I'm in about 20 or 30 of those groups, and I get probably one notification a day
Well,
out of all of them.
you said something great, and then you said something great. You said, if you're the only one posting in it, and then you said you were not in that many. I'm in over a few 100,000, like not 50,000, like over 1,000 something groups where I can generate motivated seller leads posting into these groups. So I dive in. If you're, and you would too, and I think anyone watching might, is they post inside of a group, they get a lead, let's say it's a wholesale deal, they get $5,000 for it, just saying it, not a disclaimer, not guaranteed.
Right.
But you make $5,000 in that, you're probably going to invest more time into searching for these groups, joining more.
Right.
And while you're doing your research, you'll find Ryan's question is that, am I the only one posting? Because I just posted a week ago, and now I am again. This group is not doing anything. So those, just because they're large doesn't mean that there's going to be a lot of activity there. So yeah, you got to go and kind of vet the groups.
Oh, well, there you go.
I said that.
So I feel like we could keep on rabbit holing.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the very beginning. So what is Facebook automation marketing for us laymen of Facebook?
Facebook automation, we call it lead gen freedom. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Or Facebook marketing?
What is the automation part?
Hey, Chris, what do you do?
Great question. And so what we do is we post non-commercial sounding we buy houses content inside of
A post.
these groups on Facebook that doesn't cost any money. Now these groups have tens of thousands of people in them, and we're hoping that somebody in that group is probably going through, we're not hoping. So there's a lot of people there. We post inside of it, and we do that multiple times per day, and we scale that. And the way that's lead gen freedom is you don't pay for that.
Right.
It's it's completely free to post in a group, and you probably posted a group before, so you know that it's
yes.
free. So we do that, and we join more groups and post into more groups.
So what about scalability though? Like, so if you're posting, are you hoping that they send you a message, or are you just hoping they post a comment on the thing?
Both.
Because if they're so it's both. But if you're in thousands of groups, and if you've automated it and it's all going on at the same time, or are you stacking it and kind of varying it up the time zones that you're posting, like, because if you are getting hundreds of thousands of leads, which would be awesome, like, how are you making sure none of those fall through the cracks? Because I know I get in trouble in my personal life. There are people like, I tagged you on this event. I'm like, did you call me on it with my phone? Because I don't know about it.
That's where the software really kind of comes in. The stuff that we built behind the scenes, that it ties into your Facebook account. So it's going in and adding to groups kind of on your behalf. It's posting scripted things that you have to go out. I mean, you still have to spend time on your marketing, whether you do mailers or bandit signs or anything. You're gonna spend some time setting that up.
Right.
I mean, even if you pay somebody to put all your bandit signs out, you're still writing them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So in this, you're writing out your posts. You can schedule it a week or 2 weeks out so that it's posting continuously for you. And then you get the same notifications back from Facebook that in the back end software, it'll go and you can go into that particular post, click on the insight for it, and you can see all the responses to that particular post, whether it's likes or engagement or and messages. Obviously, most people have their notifications set up for their messenger anyway.
Right.
Me personally, I post my phone number in them. I've gotten calls, I've gotten texts. A lot of people don't want to reach out direct on the post. They're going to PM you or DM you or whatever you want to call it. Because let's face it, nobody likes to air their dirty laundry. Yeah, I'm in foreclosure. Here, come look at me.
I have a question on that that's going to sound like I'm attacking, but it's not. I'm just genuinely curious. Are y'all familiar with a service like Buffer?
Yeah.
So Buffer, like, there's two schools of thought there. There's Buffer is great because you can automate your postings, but then the thing you hear on the backside is it's not so great because Facebook algorithms realize it's Buffer, so they're not gonna like give it the weight that it should have.
Yeah.
So my question being is, on something like this, if you do have automated posts, are your posts going to be hidden because Facebook's like, I see what you're doing. You're the B word.
You're the bot.
The way the site works is it randomizes it. So it's really important that this is known with the software that we have. You have your times that you split up the post with, and when you do that, you don't have to go 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. You can select like 3 minutes between posts, and then
you can select 3 hours
17
between
hours between. So you can really throw Facebook off, right? By posting. So that's kind of how you can do that. But Facebook is they're pretty smart. They know that there are groups, there's businesses out there who rely on this type of technology to operate their businesses and stuff. So they've allowed businesses like more software that we have to generate a thing called a token, and then when we do that, we're able to go in further, and that's kind of our agreement with Facebook, saying they acknowledge that we do what we do, and then we say we'll follow the rules.
We respect the parameters that we're given.
So speaking of rules, and then what's the opposite of rules? Elizabeth Navarrete, she's like, I always end up in Facebook jail after posting in multiple groups.
It's because of the timing.
Facebook hates speed, and the faster you do anything on Facebook, add friends, join groups, comment, like a bunch of stuff, you will get flagged, you will get warned, you will go to Facebook jail for a day, 3 days, 30 days.
However long
They don't like speed because it feels like a robot. So that's why the software we have, it has safeguards in it. So
is that where and I don't want to use the word buffering, but the automation,
Yeah.
where
It out.
even if you throw out 1,000 things, it's gonna be like, well, let's kind of.
It'll stop you. Yeah, it'll say that's too much.
And the truth is, even with the automation side of it, you can still get put in jail, but not because of that. If you're going to push the limits, shall you share the?
Yeah, if you're on my damn show, you're gonna share all of it.
No,
wanna know all
because
of it.
so for example, like we're gonna push the limits because we get excited about something, right? So we're like, oh crap, we got to tell everybody that we're gonna be on Propelio and push that. And then what happens? So
the golden nugget right here, and I don't mean to cut you off. I want you to hold on to that thought. But the golden nugget I hear is Facebook hates speed.
Yeah.
So when you're sharing Propelio videos,
Don't get locked
wink,
up.
wink, do it slowly,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
We got a gold nugget on the show, man. That's a big honor. Thank you.
It's a huge
What's
nugget.
Did it go
what's
up
the
there?
what's the number?
The number?
Yeah,
Okay.
Any
That's-
idea what the number is that when you start
Yeah,
going
it's
through and you start
Yeah,
blowing
go
up
for it.
Facebook, which is kind of funny because Facebook lives off of engagement, right?
Right, but
so
then they
everything's
don't-
about engagement. But then if you engage, they
Too
don't
much.
like it.
It's ironic, isn't it?
It is crazy. But
So-
any idea what the number is?
Yeah, so the number's between 10 to 15 posts per day. And we advise not to do more than 10 a day so you can post
Other
every
stuff.
day. And so to keep that marketing consistent, and that's this is all about, is consistency is key, is I want to market in these groups every single day.
Right.
And so
Gotta be smart about your marketing.
yeah. So to do that, you don't want to make Facebook mad and go to Facebook jail. So there's a number, and we've researched it, and we've even asked them straight up, what is the number? What's the max? They gave us that number. We've applied it and worked with it, and so we follow that rule.
So there's a good question from Alan Harper. He's how is this different from Hootsuite? And before I let y'all answer that, my impression of what Hootsuite is similar to Buffer in the sense that you hook up your Instagrams, your LinkedIn's, your Facebooks. If you have a MySpace. Anyway, you
Corey
hook up
has
your
one.
social media to it, and then you could put one post, it spreads it, or Twitter. That's the thing that nobody uses anymore, except everybody. That's not us.
Donald Trump uses it.
I know. But anyway, but it's like, but Hootsuite and Buffer is a way to just do one post to blast to
Across
everybody.
everything.
But I don't think
Yeah.
Hootsuite does what y'all are talking about doing.
And
Yeah.
we're focused on the Facebook aspect of it.
Right.
I think we've got
Right.
other stuff in the works.
Well, we
moving
do
forward, but
that's where this kind of happened. Who asked that question?
I believe it's Alan Harper.
Hootsuite was around back in 2002,
It's been around a while.
2003. I remember using it in college.
oh, you're dating yourself.
So when Hootsuite came around, there was people using it to kind of push their funnels when they were selling how to make potato guns, whatever things that were out there on the thing. So
Ryan making out with his dog.
So, but don't
but
knock him,
Hootsuite
he's
died.
good.
Hootsuite kind of inspired this because it was that. But we've taken Hootsuite, we've simplified it dramatically. We made it specific to this because one of the cool things that we can do inside of REI Results Automation software is that we can search for groups by sizes.
Right, and that's what I was going to say is because some
Yeah.
of y'all, they're like, how is this different? And that's it, is I don't think and again, I'm not a Hootsuite guy, a Buffer guy, I haven't used them in years, but them is more just to be able to blast out to all your social things. Y'all are talking about to enter into the different groups. And not necessarily your own little post.
Right.
Jeremy Miller has a great question. So for each of the groups, is your I can't talk. Your message is slightly different, right? So basically, he's asking, do you vary up the messages?
So you're going to be, I can answer to what I do. I don't know if it's, everybody can kind of choose how they want to do their wording. I do my 10 groups and I try to spread them out. See, my market's a lot smaller than like DFW. So if I were in DFW, I would have all the sale groups. So I may market to McKinney and Arlington groups with one message for those 10 groups that I'm going to post in. So they're kind of spread out, so it's not the same people seeing the same verbiage over and over. And then the next day I'm going to pick 10 different groups and switch up my verbiage. And we have quite a few different copies that we use. There are some that are very successful for me
Yeah.
that don't work for Chris, and vice
They're
versa.
very different.
So the beauty of it is that it's so editable that you can customize it to what works. And when you see something working, you use it. When you see it's not working anymore, switch it up.
But to save time on that, the same post, if you're in a large market, you can use that same post and post it into the same groups for that day, those 10 groups. We said 10 posts. Use the same post, 10 groups. And you could do that. Now be careful doing what I just said, because if you do it too fast, you do it too close together, that's where this can get you into Facebook trouble. So if you want to stay away from that, I would stick to just 3.
keep in mind, if you're selling a TV, if you're selling a TV and you want it seen in your area, you go to as many groups in that area that you want it seen, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between having the same post saying, hey, I'm looking for houses, and you're hitting up all those groups within that area? I mean, it's just a personal choice at that point.
So we asked this earlier, we were talking, and I'll let Russ take it after that, but on YouTube, and this was great about being on YouTube now, is you don't get the names, you get cool names like Verbeck222.
Oh, they're logins.
Anyway, she, the user, when you request to join a group, you can see how many posts there are there a day, if that is helpful. Going back to when I was asking how much engagement, so that's a great point.
So my question is how long does a post work? When you go out in one of these groups and you post something, how long will it
Be effective?
generate leads?
For a very, very long time, and that's really great question, because a post that you've done 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, and if there's still engagement on it, Facebook still sees it as relevant information to whoever's in that group. So one of the things you can do in the software we've got is you can auto like your post, and you can go on there and kind of bump it. But as people are engaging and there's a lot of comments, then that's still gonna make it relevant. And so an older post is still working for you. All of your marketing that's going out there for you now, it's like putting permanent billboards out there on Facebook, and they're staying there unless you delete them yourselves or the admin
admins will go in and delete and clean up groups, but
I
what's
get
the
calls
longest
from months ago on a post, and I'm going, where did you see me? On Facebook. And I'm trying to track them down. Then I found out where they liked it and saw it, and then after looking for their name, and then I see, and then on the back end, you talked about this though, right? Where we're able to see the analytics, how many comments, how many likes, so nothing slips through the cracks, the cracks. So whenever we're doing that, we can go back and see, wow, this was like a month ago when we posted that. That was last year, almost, you know. So
and
we're
here's
able
a golden
to see all
nugget.
that.
I got a golden nugget for you.
Give us a golden nugget.
With the engagement, if somebody likes your post, it's because it's relevant, right? To something that they were interested in. They may never comment, they may never message you. Best thing you can do is find that person, go to their profile, see if you can figure out a phone number, skip trace them, whatever you need to do, because somewhere in either he knows somebody or they're relevant, or they're another investor that's like, ooh, I see you, I see what you doing. So
it's relevant to them.
exactly. So either whether it's a opportunity to network or whether it's an opportunity to find a sale that you didn't know was there, a lot of people skip over that and they're like, oh, well, it was just a like me.
Right.
Reach out. This is your job. Your job is to find leads. Find them.
And they're coming to you. So it's and it's their Facebook profile. So I don't know if there's more value in having their mailing address or if there's more value in having their Facebook profile on a skip trace. If you can get their Facebook, I mean, that's pretty powerful, because then you could go see who their friends are and then really see who their family are, and not just names that these
You
websites
hit up there like
up.
who they've been pictures. Hey, does so and so, did John Smith? Do they need to sell their
saw he
house? 'Cause
liked
I saw
my
that
stuff.
picture from Easter.
I'm stalking you now.
Yeah.
Don't be creepy.
No, I'm not gonna say
but
that.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. So real quick, if you joined us later versus the beginning, in the description of this video, there are 2 sample posts, and what we're talking about is taking those posts, going into the groups that are talkative. We're talking about the garage sales or the swap and shops or any kind of trade in. I think Elizabeth said barter, trade, swap
exactly.
groups. And take that post and just put it in there, and then see how quickly you will get a lead. A lead being any kind of interaction with you whatsoever. So if you go in this post, literally the description of this video, you will see those posts. And at the end of this at the end of the show, we'll go in there. If you've got a lead, take a picture of it, send it our way, either in this comment section or email, and we got some giveaways for that.
Russ is grinning
So
over there.
I got a notification from one of the trade groups, and I looked in there, and Jeff Steele has done it.
You know what,
There you
though?
go.
You know, that's a goal. That's a great nugget right there, because it's like, there you go, Jeff. That's awesome.
Boom.
Man. Good
Like-
for you for taking action. That's awesome.
Wait, one of the things that you will see on there, and initially it can make you very frustrated, and it all comes back to building your network, right? you'll post something that has your copy in these groups, and then people jump on and they're like, yeah, me too. And the initial reaction is like, But again, take it as an opportunity to network. Obviously, they're possible buyers.
Yeah.
Right.
So reach out and be like, hey, this is what I do. How can we work together? And
exactly. Be positive. Work together. We need to unify. I've heard Daniel say that.
From my favorite musical on Broadway, Legally Blonde. Keep it positive.
I can't.
And this is what this is. This I don't know if this is a gold nugget or not. You guys can determine that after I say this. But there's no demographics when we're doing this, because it's fair to say right now, while we're on the show, that there's a motivated seller generated here in this area, in this community. Somebody's going through something where they need to sell their house, and the cool thing about this is with posting inside of Facebook groups, and you do it on a scale where you're scheduling it out and all that. People are, with that consistency, you're 9 times out of 10 out of all the people I've worked with and we've worked with, you're the first person they've talked to, and if you're a good closer, the last. They haven't been bombarded with all this other marketing. And that's the beauty of it, because in marketing, when you're paying, you have to choose a demographic. You're leaving money on the table. Your age groups,
because 18 and 19-year-olds, they inherit properties.
They all the time. And so when they see your post on Facebook and they're trying to sell a lawnmower to make ends meet or whatever, they'll go through there and they'll scroll. Hey, these guys buy houses. Hey, can you buy it? You wrap the deal up and get it done, and then it's over with, and people are going, man, you're killing it. I don't know how honest some wholesalers are about how they get their leads, but I mean,
you mean people don't lie?
If you're the first and last person to talk to that person, it's really hard to explain to somebody who spends thousands of dollars on mailers that you're getting it for free and you didn't spend a dime.
Well, I think, and then we'll wrap this up, and then we'll go to a quick commercial break here in a second. But I think the reason that is the marketing and the models to market change so frequently in this business. Like, take for example how to market to investors. It used to be 2.5 years ago, email blasts were the way to go. Nowadays, it's social media. So 2 years ago plus, the best way to reach motivated sellers was direct mail. Postcards. Then it went from postcards and to letters, and then it went to bandit signs, and now bandit signs have been saturated. Now it's cold calling and door knocking, and now that's being, so it's, if you've spent $30,000 to $50,000 a month on direct mail, the last thing you want to hear is, hey, by the way, I can do the same thing for free. Because then it's like
a slap in the face.
If you're an adult about it, you should be excited, you should be happy, and you'd be like, hell yeah, I just saved all this money marketing. But the ego and the pride side of you is like, no, whoops.
It's easy.
But the thing is, you don't want to. We're not saying don't use other means to market. You want to make yourself as available as possible. So I mean, if you're getting your return, what is it on the mailers? It's like the 1% is like a good return on mailers, or
1%.
Well, whatever you.
Shit, try like 0.01%.
Well, dang. So if you're getting a result and you feel like you're satisfied with that, keep using it. But you cannot stick in one lane and think that that's going to be enough to sustain feeding your family. You know what I mean? So the more leads you're getting in front of, if you can do it, then do it.
Exactly. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish up what we're talking about. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you just want to throw in some emojis, we'll take it. So please join in the conversation. This show is all about the engagement. It's all about the conversation we can have. So stick around, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Thanks, guys. I hope you've enjoyed your break. Anyway, we're getting back into this. We've got Sarah, we've got Chris, we got Russ, and we're talking about Facebook automation marketing. Quick question from YouTube, Jason Hernandez. or not Hernandez, Henderson. That was way off. Are you asking for permission to post in these groups? I've seen some of the rules that I cannot read. I've seen some that have rules that don't allow certain posts that are more advertising as opposed to actually selling an item.
That's the cool thing about our Lead Gen Freedom class that we have is we teach you and we help you understand that when you're posting, it doesn't sound commercially, and you're going to be posting that sounds like you. It's just, hey, I'm cruising through the neighborhood looking for a house to buy. Anyone have one for sale? It doesn't sound like a commercial. It doesn't sound like in your face, like we buy houses. It's very personal. It sounds like you. And then another thing you can do is you can message the admins and the moderators and all that, and let them know, hey, this is the kind of message I'm just trying to help people, and this is like real life-changing, helping solution stuff that we do as investors and wholesalers, is take people out of these situations. So if you are passionate about your text in what you do and how you help people out, then they'll listen to you and they'll say, okay, well, we don't normally let this kind of stuff go, but maybe on these certain days. So then you keep notes on it. I mean, because if it's a large group that has a lot of people that you could reach out to, then, you know, they say Tuesdays and Thursdays only. All right, on my calendar, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I post in that group.
So as far as the automation side of things, this is actually your question. I saw your thing. It's like,
Go ahead.
no, I'll let you ask it. I'll figure out a different question because
Way to go,
I just
host.
stole his questions. That's not very nice.
No, you're good. Because I'm not sure what you're talking
I was
about.
talking about the, like,
I'm not sure which question
so like
you were
the
reading.
CRM aspect of it.
Oh,
So you're
that
getting
one.
these leads,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it's automated. Are you having to like cut and paste into whatever, like a Propelio or like
It
a
moves
Propelio,
really quickly.
like a whatever?
It moves really quickly because when you post your CRM and your engagement management platform is this thing called Facebook. Your notifications. When somebody comments, you get a notification. When somebody likes it, you get a notification. When somebody shares it, obviously all these things, you get notifications, and then you're going to interact right away. So if you want to import that, you can on our end, you can go to the analytics side and you can see how many comments were and how many likes were. And then you can go back there and export those into an Excel spreadsheet using Zapier. And I'm not sure, was I supposed to, can I say that?
What, Zapier? Yeah,
Zapier.
I don't care.
Did I say it wrong?
I call it Zapier.
Zapier, yeah.
Yeah. So you can pull that in and tie that into that and then plug that into a spreadsheet, and there you go. I mean, then from there you can upload that into your CRM from a data sheet, spreadsheet.
We're always working on expanding what we're doing.
Yeah.
I know we're working
Right.
on
The CRM
incorporating a CRM into what an official CRM into what we're
It's the
doing
biggest
as well.
question we get is how do we...
It's not there yet, but we're.
And you know
we're
why
getting
they're
there.
asking that, Ryan?
Because they want it.
No,
'Cause they're getting leads.
they're getting leads.
Yeah.
They're like, how do I
Absolutely.
manage all of
Because
this?
when I do this, I'll get overwhelmed with leads. I mean, literally, and I can spend hours on Facebook.
Yeah, following.
And I've been till 2 or 3 in the morning,
Commenting
basically
back and forth, yeah.
commenting, responding, and vetting out all
Oh.
those people
Yeah.
that responded to what I put out there. And so it can be
Overwhelming.
this huge, overwhelming time suck to basically take those 200 responses I got and narrow it down to, you know, the 10 viable people that I really need to deal with.
And here's how we help with that.
Yeah.
Here's how we help with that. So one of the things that I think we should all do if we're doing this on Facebook is we have to respect that not everybody on Facebook wants their information on Facebook. So you're saying that you want to buy houses, or you could pay cash for a house, and they're going, man, I really need the help, but I don't want everybody in my friends list to find out that I'm in this situation. So by respecting that, we've built funnels, websites, so that way we can gather that information. You said you're vetting all these people that are coming in and you're not sure if they're tire kickers or what. We have this feature where you can auto comment the URL to your website and funnel, so you can
Pulled it from.
put them through that process of the address, the name, how soon do you want to sell, do you own the property, what's your name, address, phone number, email,
Yeah.
as much information as you want to get. They click submit, then you get those emails, and so then now you've got more data to go off of instead of just asking more questions. You can, that helps simplify it. It'll cut the work down dramatically. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something that we've
Well, you know,
implemented.
somebody that's willing to go through the funnel is actually a little bit more warm than those that are
Right.
not so
Yeah,
interested
getting
in going
people
through
to
the funnel.
click, it's a science. There's a science to that. Getting
Right.
people to click that button.
So maybe this is a bad question, but like maybe it's just because I struggle with my notifications on my Facebook. So the software you're referring to is the REI automation software y'all have. Do I have to use that only for leads? I mean, could I just use that to talk to people? Because I lose, especially with Facebook, because Facebook Messenger, Facebook notifications, in my opinion, is horrible if you're trying to do a business, if you're running a business from that. Like if I'm not in the business of trying to find motivated sellers and it's just a matter of maintaining my Facebook, could I use y'all's software for that?
Yeah, and it's not a bad question. It's a really great question. Do you want to answer that one, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay, so
She doesn't know.
No, I don't.
I'm just kidding.
no, the thing about it is when
I've never
you're
run it that
wholesaling
way.
or investing, you purchase a deal you find on Facebook, and then now you need to market that deal. Well, the same process you used, you just go to a different place. You go to these REI result.
I think what Ryan's asking is, can he use it from?
No, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm getting there. So you could use it to buy and find these deals, and then you could use them to sell them and market out to them. And then you could also use it to go to your friend that you're going to forget his birthday from a month from now. And you're just like, I don't want to forget it. And schedule a post to go on his profile and say happy birthday. If you have another business or other industry that you're in, you're trying to raise money. I know somebody who's trying to raise money now for an organization, a nonprofit, and that's what he's using it for. So he's using it for, you can use it for multiple things, and that's the beauty of it, is you can do it for a lot of things. I mean, if you're trying to hire somebody like a contractor, you know, you can put it out like an ad and like, hey, we're hiring for this, and it has multiple functions. It can be used to find motivated sellers, and it can be used to market and sell to investors.
So Mario Carlos, he says, okay, guys, if you keep asking yourself if this, I don't think he's talking to us, but he's talking, if this program's work, here's proof. And he just posted. He just posted this, I guess, in a in a Hispanic group, but it's, it's right there. That's the post, and that's the comment he got back. So that's a
I
lead,
would
right?
read it, but
That's the lead. What is, I can't see
can't
it.
read it.
Dem un la manda.
What does that say, Sarah?
I can't see it. Dame una llamada. Give me a call.
There you go.
Boom, got a lead. Mario,
He's
I
awesome.
got you, bro. I got you a hat coming your way, man.
I want a hat.
A KM&S
I
hat.
don't like a hat.
I want free
You
stuff
ever
too.
seen a hat with an emoji on it?
Poor Ryan. He gives
No.
all the stuff away. Who gives Ryan
Nobody
things?
gives me nothing. Just grief. So as far as like, because a couple people asked, like, what is the software? Is it, and it's the REI, like, how do people get a hold of it? What is it? Like, what's the sales pitch aspect of it? I'm okay with going into that because it's not like a hard sell. It's like, hey, if you want to know, this is what it is.
It's not that easy to answer. It's not just go to the website and then here you go and then you're free. We really need to work with you. You're free to go. Here's the website. No, we really need to like kind of go through the process on how it works, because if you use it wrongly, then you're just going to be frustrated with it, because you're going to go, God, that was frustrating, and you post too much, you comment and like and do all these things, you're going to do too much or mess it up where Facebook's not going to be too happy with you. If you go through our course and we show you how to use it, you will, since 2013, so how far? 5 years? Give you 5 years of knowledge right away, very quickly, in a 4-week course that we're starting on November 5th,
Monday.
Monday.
So there's the pitch, y'all. Next week they've got a 4-week course. How do they get information on that?
So go to leadgenerationfreedom.com/webinar and sign up for that. Tomorrow at 8, we're going to go over the details of all that. That's where we're going to do the real sales pitch, and then we'll go over the
The
pricing.
real one, not the
The
fake
real
one.
sales pitch.
Hey guys, if y'all want to hear an hour-long sales pitch, join tomorrow.
Well, it's not that we're going to be talking for an hour. It's
Yeah.
we're going to be answering questions.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Speaking of questions, I've been like muffling Russ, and I know he's writing down left and right. So Russ, go for it, man.
He's
Well,
got
you
a
took
whole
my
page.
big one. I was really interested in the whole CRM thing, and
I tried to give it back to you.
Well, that's fine, because I wasn't sure what you were talking about. So, and I kind of got into it, and it's really the whole dealing with the monster that comes with it. Because when you generate a lot of leads, you got to deal with a lot of leads, or they're absolutely wasted.
Pointless.
There's
It's daunting, all these leads.
And
It's horrible.
It can be, and it is, and it has been.
No, I know what you're
Well,
saying.
it is, because that's what I do, and it's one of the things that I struggle with. And you know, if you saw the show last week, one of the things that we kept saying is consistency is
Yes.
what works in
It is.
marketing.
That is it. That's true.
And I find myself on the Facebook not being too consistent, because now I look at it and say, okay, the next couple of days I got this, and this. Okay, let me launch something now,
All right.
so
Well-
I can have some time to deal with it.
Well, that's the benefit of being able to schedule your stuff out, because I was bad about being consistent. Life happens. I've got 3 kids. You're doing a bunch of other.
Really? It doesn't
Really?
look like it.
Oh,
Sorry, I
yeah.
had to.
So
I got in trouble earlier, so just kidding.
thank you. I lost my train of thought.
I know.
Basically,
3
you
kids.
can put your I have 3 kids. That's
That
where it
was
was. Life happens, and you get booked up. You've got leads coming in. You want to be able to focus on the ones that you've deemed that are warm. So you've got, say, 3 that responded to a couple different ones of your posts that you're like, okay, these are actually serious leads that I want to follow up on. I want to schedule appointments. So that I don't spread myself out too thin, I go ahead and pause my posting so that I'm not losing leads by over posting, not following up, and giving myself a bad name. I pause it, and then once I've completed the leads that I'm working, I start it back up again. Now you can do a fill up your pipeline, so to say, as much as you feel comfortable with. In Finishing Strong, which is my LLC with my mom, it's just me and my mom following up on the leads. So it's not like we have this big group of people that we can be like, yeah, go do that one, go do that one, do that one.
And speaking of a lot of people, and speaking of the systems, Ruben Lopez has a great question. If there's a lot of people doing this system in the same market, will that spook people away?
Does that spook you away from doing wholesaling or investing in your market anyways? I mean, everyone else is doing mailers, everyone else is doing bandit signs, everyone else is doing cold calling, everyone else is doing running voicemails. But we can go on and on. Everyone else is doing. It's
Right.
who's actually taking action and doing it better. I mean, you can go and post "We Buy Houses" on Facebook. Try it. See how that works for you. Or you could try our method where it's more of a personal one-on, like, hey, Ryan, are you selling a house? I'm buying houses.
Right.
Like, that's how we're approaching Facebook. Like, I'm
And
a
I
regular
would-
guy, being a guy.
And I would add to that, I think what gets lost is people's power or knowledge of numbers. Like when you have a group that has 5,000 people in it, 20,000 people into it, 100,000 people into it, your post, it's like Craigslist in the way that it's going to get lost within an hour.
Really quickly, yes.
Yeah. So like your post, even if you have 1,000 people doing it in a group of 10,000 people, that's still only 1 in 10 doing it.
The average Facebook, sorry,
No,
I'll
go
just say this. The average, we did it for Dallas, not for Fort Worth. They don't combine them, but the average Facebook garage sale group has 1,600 posts per day. If you do the math, that's quite a bit of posts. Now, they're taking into fact there's those smaller groups out there that are not posting as many, but if you think about it, those larger groups with 50,000 people in them probably have a good 10,000 posts per day. So you get buried, like you said, and that's where everyone else has a chance to do this. What time? When is that motivated seller going to be there? Well, I don't
You never
know.
know.
When does a motivated seller open their piece of mail? Would you pay extra for that? Would you? I mean, and that's what we're just trying to do is we're sending a message out and we're just trying to get a response back. We're just, because all of our marketing, we want this.
I raised my hand.
Yes, no, or leave me alone, right? And you would probably pay extra for the no instead of nothing, right? If you sent out some message, you would probably pay a little bit extra to get a guaranteed response, like yes or no, I'm not, or leave me alone.
Right.
And
Any response.
yeah, so in the consistency,
I'm good with any response.
right? Exactly, we want that. We want that. So,
Oh, well, what I was going to, it goes back to, okay, so his question was, it's going to saturate the market, right? There's going to be so many posts
Yeah.
that are going to be the same type of
many
lingo.
people.
People are going to
Essentially,
get
that's what he's
confused.
asking, yeah.
Yes.
it's a
All
great
right.
question.
It is a great question. Not only is it the lost aspect of it, that it's, there's so many people in there. However, again, think bigger, in terms of networking. If you're seeing other people that are in the area posting like that, you know that they're either a wholesaler or ding, 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 they're a possible buyer. Reach out. And if you see other people posting because they've copied and pasted your verbiage, change it up. I mean, I know in my area, because it's smaller, I have at least 3 or 4 that I've seen that are doing the same type of thing, but they're not in with what we're doing, they're doing it manually. I've connected with these people one-on-one, and they're like, oh, I see the posts and I see all the engagement that you're getting, and is it cool if I use it? I mean, I don't have the copyright to saying, hey,
Right.
I'm looking for a house. What I've done is I've networked with them, and we have, we're kind of on the same page that, hey, maybe if I see yours, I'm going to give it a day before.
So there is a community. Is there? That's a good.
I do, because it's smart.
So is there like a community of automated people like yourself that are like, okay, there's this. What are the unspoken rules? Like, hey, Russ just posted. Let's give it a minute. Is it like in baseball or and stuff like that? Where
I
there's
would
rules?
just reach out or just recognize that, all right, somebody else is doing this. I need to change up my tactic.
Okay.
And just kind of roll with it. I mean, you can't stop somebody. You can't stop them from posting bandit signs out.
Right.
In front of yours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's competitive market, so be creative in what you're doing, and don't forget to reach out to that person. And you never know. You may build in your own little market this little, this wink understanding that, okay, Sarah's got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I've got, Saturday, Sunday,
Right.
Monday. And
Or
just
they might like your face compared to his face, and they're just
That
gonna
is
go
not
with you.
possible. Look at this. Look at this.
Russ wins. I'm sorry. Russ
He's a.
wins
I'm
this
saying
competition.
you win.
He's the one face of Propelio.
So, what?
He only has the one.
The stoic.
I,
The
I,
stoic.
I've
Stoic
got to
face.
throw this out
I'm
there.
the
too,
straight
'cause
guy.
This is
Hold on a second.
Anyway, Chris, I think he was
so-
going to bring us back.
I was gonna bring
Go
it.
ahead.
I was just
sorry.
gonna bring something to the table that the same people you pay social media, Facebook for, are the same people that are inside these groups. There's not a special society on Facebook that you get delivered ads and these people don't. It ain't the Hunger Games, right? I mean,
Right.
it's the same people, right? So that's where the beauty of
The
that
Hunger
is.
Games, I like
and
that.
at the same time, if they see your post to yours, they're gonna just go off of who they think they can trust,
Right.
based
So,
off of visuals.
I got a comment and then a question for Sarah. But so my comment is that you've got all this mail going out, and so these people on these lists are getting bombarded and they're getting stacks of mail. The reality is they're calling somebody,
Yeah.
or they're calling multiple people, and they're calling the people whose mail
Touch them.
reaches out and touches them. So the copy that you put out on Facebook or any marketing has to be compelling. And the closer you are to touching the nerve that is the
pain
pain
point.
point
That pain point.
that makes those people react, the better chances that you're going to get them to contact you.
Absolutely.
So your copy. That's
So
what
your
you're talking
copy is huge. It doesn't really matter what the media is. It's everything.
Yeah.
If you want to reach someone, touch their pain point. If you touch it, they'll reach back out and
I've
and
got
touch
a really free, cool tip on that.
it. Okay. I'm
Go
all ears.
to the supermarket, go get a tabloid where they have all these scandalous, awesome headlines
Right.
that are not true,
Right.
but it grabs you, and you have to know more about why they're whatever. And it just inspires you. One of the things
That's a good point.
It is a
I mean,
good
I don't.
point.
I don't think
you're not
'cause
going to
your
write
delivery of
that.
that was not very like, hey, this is a good tip. So I'm gonna take what you just said and put a little bit more inflection to
Throw
it.
a gold nugget. Son.
Yeah, because
He's
what you said was pretty damn epic, and you're just
actually
like,
was.
I
so
do
I'm
that.
giving you
It's
props.
on the cool.
I do that.
Yeah, but basically go to your tabloid section and just see what the headlines are, and that'll use
Oh,
you
you're
to be
holding the nugget.
creative. There you go. That'll get you creative copy, and just like you don't necessarily need to borrow it, but be like,
Just triggers things. You don't know.
Kim
It's-
Kardashian, blah blah blah. Okay, well, what was the blah blah blah?
Well, why are you hooked to that?
Right.
Now, turn that around and try to find a motivated seller.
That's
with,
a good. That's
with
that's
it.
huge,
You
man.
got to tie into the emotion. That's all there is to
Yeah.
it. We're an emotioning.
That works for me.
I'm an emotional being, and so when we see something that moves us, it's through emotion. If it doesn't hit us emotionally, we don't really react.
Marketing's just got to grab you, right?
It does.
I mean, it has to. Driving through here, I'm living in West Texas right now, but when I drive through here, I see these billboards that say "sexy teeth" or something. Have you seen them?
Oh, somebody, I guess a dentist that says she gives people sexy
Clearly,
teeth.
the marketing is not working. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
I've seen them.
Well, it's on the highway.
I make
Sexy
sense.
teeth?
You've seen it. Yeah. Marketing's got to grab you with whatever ways they can because they're trying to make money.
New sponsor.
This episode is
call the
sponsored by
dentist.
Sexy Teeth.
So,
yeah, I bet that dentist has got some
So I had a
investment.
follow-up question when you were talking about the warm leads or the warm responses. Can you go into that and talk about what that looks like, what a warm lead or response is when you're doing?
Okay, so if
Facebook?
you're cold calling, why is it called cold calling? You don't
they
know
don't
if
know? Yeah,
they don't
don't
know
know.
you.
Ryan's
They've
in
never.
charge of the air conditioner.
Yes, I know. Holy cow!
Okay, y'all have never been in here in the summer. It gets hot up here very quickly.
I
So,
believe you.
Well,
anyway, cold lead,
So-
warm lead.
Warm lead.
We all know that cold calling, people get mad. They don't understand why you're reaching out to them. So,
Right.
at the very least, any response that you're going to get to an ad that says, to the effect of "we buy houses in a much better
Right.
copy," is going to be at the very least a lukewarm lead. Somebody has reached out because they either know somebody that's looking to sell a house or they personally have something that they're looking to get rid of. Now, you obviously want to vet and see, is it listed on the market? Now, part of my particular copy on a lot of the ones I use, I make sure to put on there, it's not listed with a realtor. I tried putting that's not listed on MLS. That didn't work because not everybody knows what the MLS is.
Right.
So I make sure I put on there, I'm looking for a house that needs work that is not listed with a realtor. That way, at the very least, I know that the person that's reaching out hasn't signed a contract with a realtor yet.
So we're getting. I mean, we're not wrapping up right now, but we're getting towards the end, and I want to spend a good chunk of time because I know there's been several questions. I know
Okay.
Jeremy or Matt was asking about it. Like, what's the perfect post? And I know you did a couple. We did a couple sample posts at the beginning,
right.
That's
but real quick because you brought it up, and we'll get into more of the copy side of things. Do you purposely? Because I know when you're doing RVMs, and I know I'm all over the place right now. But like when you do RVMs, the trick is not to be professional. The trick is to throw in the ums and sound like a human. RVM being ringless voicemails. Is the same thing? Does that same rules apply to when you're doing a post like this?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
you want to seem like, hey, I'm a real human.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
So
But
what are the tricks to do that?
The perfect post, whichever one makes you the most money. We don't know. People talk different in South Carolina than they do here in Texas. I know that because I got family over there. And then as we've traveled through the country and just stopped in different places and stayed at different hotels, and they greet you differently. And I pay attention to those things. And when I notice that, we say y'all and they say something else, hey, you all. So, hey, you guys, or whatever.
Oh, that
So-
just
Hey,
makes
you
that. Oh my,
guys.
yeah, it's straight to Goonies.
Yeah.
One of the things that you can think about is that you're very vettable when you're on Facebook, especially like, for example, I know
Yeah, that's
you
true.
have is your profile public?
Yes.
So is mine. So my copy is going to make it sound. I use y'all because that's how I speak. I say y'all in my post, and I say thank you and please, and I put that personal touch on it so that you're not coming across super corporate-y. But I'm very aware that my Facebook is public. So they're going to go click on my name, go look at my profile. They're going to see, obviously, oh, she does weird things and is on lives all the time for some
Right.
reason. And so they're going to go on. And so they're going to be able to see, oh, well, not only is there that connect to, well, she's looking for houses. Obviously, she kind of knows real
Yeah.
estate somehow, so maybe she's an authority that I didn't know I needed.
Right.
Which comes back, let's face it, people judge you on your pictures. Make sure you have a good profile picture. Make sure your profile is cleaned up. No, I mean, you don't want to be super
Positive.
political.
You don't want to be
and-
like super scary in your headshot.
You don't want any karaoke pictures from the weekend.
come on, those are
I put the nice ones up.
So, but going back to the copy side of things, what are some tricks and tips there? You say, if you say y'all, throw in a y'all. What are, I mean, I understand.
Be yourself.
And I get,
Be yourself.
but I get the whole, like, whatever makes the most money is the best post. It's like, I get it, but
Okay.
if you don't
I
know
didn't
what the hell
sound
you're
like
doing,
that.
what's that?
It didn't sound like that.
But, that's what we heard. No, but so what, like, okay, other than your 2 sample posts that we've already got, are you saying, hey, by all means, just take that, run with it, and then tweak as you've learned the system? Or what are, if you're the authority on it, what are some ways that we can, like, leapfrog the education process and be like, ooh, I should probably, what is the perfect post? That's basically what I'm getting there.
We help you build your story inside of our class, in our university is what it is.
Okay.
And in those 4 weeks, we help you build your story. And I know that sounds funny, like I'm an investor, I'm a wholesaler. Why do I need to build my story? Because when you know your story, your who, your why, and why your why, then it's easier for you to post. It's easier for you to create content. It's easier for you to do those things. So the more you do this show and the longer that you've done this, as long as you've done this, it's easy for you to get on here and host a show and just ask questions because you're comfortable with it. That's copy. You're creating copy just coming out of your mouth. Well, that's something that people need to work on, and so yeah.
In terms of copy for me, and Leslie's talking about figuring out your story, East Texas likes kind of handshake deals. So I try to make my wording come across as I'm the good old gal looking to work with the good old boy and shake his hand and let's get this done. So I want to make sure that whatever my copy looks like has that feel to it. So so as to go ahead and start building the rapport from the initial to get that like or to get that comment, because the more comfortable somebody feels, obviously, and there's no, to answer your question, there's no perfect script. It's going to be very specific to who you are and what market you're in. I'm not going to say y'all if I'm posting and I'm going to start doing virtual wholesaling in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wouldn't, because I don't feel like that would get the response. I may do a little research on the area that I'm marketing to and find the slang words that fit that area and adjust my copy accordingly so that I can become, again, building that trust, building that rapport with my potential.
Well, let's look at one of your sample posts real quick. I'm gonna, like, I don't even know one of the main people. I was like, I'm gonna Barbara Walters you, or I don't know. Hey, this is the sample post that one of them you gave me. Hey, I'm looking for an off-market property not listed on the MLS that needs work. Honestly, in any condition, we are ready to purchase today. So, Russ, what do you think of that post?
I think it's pretty generic, and I think that it is a little dry for me.
Okay.
Will it get a response? Probably.
Right, and I don't. The reason I'm asking is because I don't know, and so
if you find someone who is ready to sell today, they're going to key in on that part.
Today.
But if you've got someone who's thinking about selling, they're probably going to overlook this one. See, correct me if you've got a different opinion, you think I'm wrong, but to me, marketing is a moving target. It never stays consistent, because what works today is not going to work tomorrow.
Right.
Because the audience that you're looking for and you're reaching out to and you're targeting is evolving and changing continuously. So you've got to, in my mind, that consistency comes back, because then you can kind of play and tweak and put out different things and kind of test your marketing.
Right.
Do splits and figure out, well, I said this one, and I said this one, I got this kind of response on this one. I didn't get that. Let me try something different over here. Let me continue to do this, and then you just kind of hone in on it. But as soon as you get it dialed in, in 3 months, it no longer works. You got to do something different.
And the reason I'm doing this is because at the very beginning you said, take this, tweak it for however you want. So for your story, how would you tweak this to match your voice? Because, like, I fully understand, like, this statement, this copy is kind of like a baseline skeleton that you can add different flair and widgets to. So how would Chris Chavez, like, personalize this statement?
Well, first off, we don't say we buy houses anywhere in that.
Right.
So it doesn't sound commercially. And the mindset of a motivated seller is not of a entrepreneur that thinks outside of the box. And hopefully no one takes that wrong. But they're not thinking this is an investment opportunity. They're thinking this is I'm in a meat crisis. I need to sell this house right now.
Right.
And so you're analyzing it differently than they're going to see it, because if we buy houses signs were working way back when they were working, then that's all we would say. We said that a little bit more elegantly, I think, and we just filtered out all of the realtors that could comment, because we know we could buy a house from a realtor. But a realtor is going to say, hey, this person's looking for a house. They don't know that you're an investor or a wholesaler. So that's why we say that off market, not listed with MLS. So we filter out all the realtors in any condition. So now they're going to take, well, this house that ain't worth nothing to me in my head, maybe they'll give me some money for it, and they like to hear fast and they like to hear cash. I mean, it's hard to take yourself from the position you're at now as in real estate and put yourself in the mindset of a motivated seller, because you're not in that position right now. I mean, are you sitting here dying to get this $10,000 property off of your hands because the taxes are so far behind and it's just a headache? I mean, you could try, but I mean that's a whole different mental.
So what are like the benchmark things that you want? Because I'm looking at this, I see, like you said, just to recap, off market, not listed, which is the same thing, but off market, not listed means no agent. Any condition, meaning, obviously any condition, and I learned this from the Bryce McKinley show.
NLP.
The purchase today. Like, I want it today. So is that basically what you want? It's like, hey, I don't want an agent, and it could be it could look like anything, and let's make a deal happen right now. Is that the three? Is there more that you add to it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we go over it in our class, but that's part of it. Yeah.
One of the NLPs that I use within the market groups that I've seen has had a good return is before the hey, I write ISO in search of and 2 dots and then put, because I know, because I do garage sale stuff and buying and selling stuff, people see the in search of, and then they're like, oh, she's looking for something. Is it something that I have to sell? And
usually computers don't use like
no, they don't.
Slang, right?
Well, a bot's not gonna put in search of on there.
You have to type it all. And the cool thing about it is, if you go through our course, you're gonna have like 400 plus posts to schedule out your entire month. I mean, we're gonna help you write that. And as you write 400 posts, you're gonna develop your own flow of things, and you have your own message. I bet we post completely different.
I bet we do.
But you're gonna write your own story of how you're going to post, and you might even put it into story format so that way it makes sense. And then when you go back and you're going, oh wow, the month's over, or those 30 days are over, what do? You just start over again. Take the ones that are working, take the ones that weren't performing, tweak them, and try something new.
Go ahead.
Sorry, and to that effect, just to kind of, you have to know your customer, right? So Mario posted in Spanish that he got the lead. So I know, because of my being able to speak Spanish and knowing the culture, because I grew up there, that in English, we buy houses is a big deterrent, right? In Spanish, it's not.
No, it's actually
it's knowing your demographic. It's knowing who you're talking to and what the message you're trying to sell. Vendemos casas, compramos casas is very key.
Sexy.
So, and
go on.
Yeah. So if you have access to your own from your own knowledge bank of who your customer is, that's where you really pull your own copy. And so I have an advantage over Chris in that aspect, that I have a different language and that I understand the culture behind it. So I know, hey, We Buy Houses does work in Spanish and why. And go ahead.
No, go finish. I want you to finish your thought.
Oh, I'm done.
You're done.
Done.
What I was going to say is, what I love most about all this is you don't have to jump in immediately. You can actually go, look, let me take the proof of concept. Let me go on my own.
Absolutely.
And take the automation aspect out of it and just grind it out, and then realize, okay, this does work. Let me call up Sarah. Let me call up Chris. How can I do this so I don't have to get so hands-on?
It gets exciting, because when I first did it, and it might have been faster than that because that's when I checked it. But 4 hours, I had 2 solid leads, and that was game changer because I was like, I could call for 4 hours, how many numbers, and get those same, but I was doing other things.
How many cold calls did you do before you got your first real lead from cold calling?
Oh man,
And that's not to dog cold calling. I mean,
No,
I love
that
Sonia.
look
She's
says
a
it all.
beast. But
I just want to point out, like, 4 hours.
1,000 something. What did I tell you?
Yeah, but
like
4 hours to get 2 real
1010
leads.
was, or 1011.
1,123.
I'll stand in that line.
Yeah, but 4 hours to get 2 leads. Like, if you're new to real estate.
And I was doing something else. It was
Yeah.
doing that for me.
Right,
I
but I'm
checked
just
Facebook
saying-
and I'm going, oh, cool, there's a lead. I work it, and then I go, oh, there's another notification, and then I'm like, oh, I'm on my way. Like, hey, we're going to go look at some houses.
But I'm just saying, like, even if you were posting for 4 hours on Facebook, like on social media for 4 hours specifically to get those 2 leads, that's still awesome. Like, because if you're new to real estate marketing, like 4 hours of bandit signs, you might get a lead, you might not get a lead. You might have code enforcement right behind you pulling your signs. So even if you are actively working on it, and yeah, it is kind of cold. If you're 4 hours to get 2 leads is awesome.
Let's keep in mind.
It was
Okay, so
exciting. It was exciting.
we can generate
It changed
leads.
my life, and
That's
now
not
we're
an issue.
sitting
Sorry.
here
Yeah.
because of those 2 leads in those 4 hours.
Keep in mind, he only ever got 2 leads. No, I'm just kidding. It's been 4 years later, but it's still those 2 leads. I'm playing. It's a jokes.
We made it, Mom. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, it's gone.
Elizabeth
were you
said
going to say that?
No,
she lost her thought
I
again.
lost it. It's gone.
Elizabeth
Dang
was
it.
saying, it sure does work in Espanol.
It does.
So
Yeah.
and now there's more and more Spanish in our. So I don't know. I don't know.
We are now Propelio. How do you say that in
Yeah,
Spanish?
Propelio. I don't know.
Propelio.
So anyway, what are the final nuggets that maybe we forgot? Maybe Russ and I didn't. Or Russ, did you have any more questions?
He did. He had something.
Well, get in there, man.
I
wanna
think I
give away
did it.
free
Jump in the
stuff.
I was
game.
talking about the consistency and the copy, and so I went over.
It came
I
back.
did it. Yeah.
It's Mac. I'm sorry. Scatterbrained. The biggest thing is, okay, so you can get leads all day long, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know how to work them, are you going to close them?
Yeah, the results. We need to talk about that.
That's with anything, though.
You're right, but so many people get frustrated with a system that they don't know how to work, and then it's like it's the system's fault.
Yeah.
I can admit, within wholesaling, the negotiation side of stuff, I'm still learning. I'm still evolving with it. So every lead that I get that probably let's say Corey Ryan would close, I may not be able to close at the percentage that you can because
Right.
you've got years on me in
Right.
terms of those negotiations.
Right.
I'm not that old.
Results are different.
Years. It's
On
not
our end,
all
ours-
age; it's
I'm
age
playing.
in the business. But that's the thing.
But from a
In
Propelio,
my
like,
case, it's both.
but like, I mean, you could say same thing about the Propelio and all the stuff that we offer.
Absolutely.
Because the same person, if you have 2 people in the same market, man, these leads are blah 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 blah. I got nothing. And then if somebody new, like, man, I just closed 8 deals off you guys. Thank you so much. Same market, nothing's changed other than the fact that their delivery system of marketing or the experience of actually closing the deal. So I totally get that.
Which is why we say lead generation freedom, not necessarily close your
Yeah,
deal.
and that's why maybe I failed as asking this question. That's why I didn't really get into the validity of the leads, because at the end of the day, it's like,
up to you.
the number one. What's the number one problem that all sales guys have is, man, the leads suck. It's like, do they, or just maybe you need to do a better job of closing it?
You don't need more leads. You need to be a better salesperson.
You need to be a salesperson.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a difference between learning something and applying it.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, that's the reason why the big box,
Hey, buddy.
guru programs are so, in my mind, not worth it, because you don't get that application aspect of it. You really need, a coach or a mentor local that you can get in touch with and talk to on a regular basis and say, hey, I tried this and this and this, or
Yeah.
I've got this property. Can you?
And
come
that's
with
why
me?
we did the class the way we did it with you have the video on a Monday, you have a live Q&A on a Thursday. Because like when Chris and I spoke, one of the things that we talked about was I had purchased into a system, I'm not going to name what it was, and I was so frustrated, and I kept on going back to, it's probably not the system, it's me, I don't understand it. And even when I reached out to the company, I felt like I just wasn't getting the instruction on how to use it properly. So that's why when we decided to do it this way, it was like, okay, we need like a whole day, not a whole day, but a whole Q&A. Let's show them how it works through the video first, and then they can write their questions. And then that following Thursday, we can answer them and go into very specific detail on the questions that they have to make sure that they're walking through the system properly. So there's really no excuse as to why you can't make it work. And that was one of the big things that we talked about. It's a matter of results, not, I mean, people don't want to pay for something that isn't going to produce results.
So we're going to give you the key. We're going to give you the combination and the lock. And I think some gurus, it's like, here's the combination.
Right.
Now
You
there's
want the
1,000
lock,
locks.
Well, it's not about the lock. It's
Yeah.
about the combination. They're selling the combination, and that's a great analogy. We call that the guru gap because there's literally is a gap between where the education stops and the house is sitting over there, and it's like, how in the hell do I do that?
Exactly.
I got a whole lot of stuff.
How do I do that? What is that application piece? And that's the piece that's missing.
And that's what we cover all of those.
It's missing in so many of these programs, and that's why people struggle.
Because it sounds because free advertising sounds like it doesn't have any value, but trust me, when you do a wholesale deal for $25,000 for free off of a Facebook group, you're going to believe in it.
Yeah.
And you're going to take that all the way to the White House as you become president. Because, I mean,
From wholesaler to president.
yeah, I mean, you are going to be all about it. I mean, spending money is going to get harder.
So we're wrapping up. What are the final thoughts? What are some final nuggets? Russ, if you've got a final question, like, what are some final thoughts we got here?
Final thought. It's a great question.
And Chris.
I hope we didn't made this confusing. It's really easy to explain it.
I had one of those the other day.
It's really easy to explain it because I talk about this all day long, but consistency is key. Consistency is also one of those things that we don't have time to do, right? So with the software, we are able to create that consistency so that way you could take a day off and still be consistent and do other things. And that's kind of the thing.
Time is valuable.
That's a huge nugget right there.
Time is so valuable.
You
we
can take
provide
a
the
dog
structure,
off,
and that's time.
But you could take a day off and stay consistent because that's huge. And again, I think that's another huge thing that's like
Gold nugget.
there it is.
You
golden
love
nuggets.
your nuggets.
I love
But
the
it
gold
is.
nuggets.
It's like because with anything in this business specifically, you have to stay consistent. And if you need to take days off, but you can't take days off at the expense of not being consistent. So if you can find a way to maintain that consistency and take a day off,
Get your Facebook profile
where-
working
where
for
that
you,
thing's
just
coming
like you
in.
get
That
your
was
money
really
working
good.
for
I
you.
like-
Get your
that was
profile
awesome.
working for
You know,
you.
when you build a team,
Oh, the profile.
and you've
that's
got
what sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm saying that's where the team comes into play. If you build a team and you've got 2 or 3 people that are really working together and they combine their skills, and so you've got someone that has the ability to sit and play on Facebook all day long, and they are consistent, and they are generating leads, and they're bringing things in to turn over to the closer who's going out and getting these houses under contract, and then turn it over to the person that's going to manage the construction on it if they're going to do the fix and flips, or if they're going to do the wholesale and they do all the copy and prep and blast it out to get it sold. And so that's a way that you can do that too, and just bring together a group. We've got people that hang around with Propelio, Cress and Claire and Mariah.
did we just lose audio?
We lost number 3, which is yes, and
Somebody didn't have batteries?
we're almost a half hour over anyways.
Oh,
I think somebody just
Anyway, we'll find how it is and turn us back on. 1 second.
Coming
Half hour.
back.
It's only 15 minutes.
my phone says 12:19.
I think it's me.
It's this one.
Well, both of y'all turned off.
Come on.
Actually, no.
Anyway,
Just keep going.
well, are we have audio though?
For you do.
I have audio. Oh, I didn't know.
Me
I
and
could've
you
kept
have audio.
talking.
We
could've
can
been-
talk.
We could have been going. Anyways, we're wrapping up. Thank you so much for watching. How can they get a hold of y'all? I know somebody's asked about the software, y'all's class. What is it?
leadgenerationfreedom.com/webinar. That's going to be the best way right now.
Cool. And then Russ, what do you want?
Messages.
Yeah.
Hashtag free Russ, 817-800-RUSS.
And
Love
then
it.
Propelio.com. If you're looking for off-market leads, if you're looking for investor-friendly websites, and you're looking for access to get true MLS comps, check out Propelio.com. We also have got the Propelio Academy, so go to Propelio.com/academy, where we're just dumping as much free to you education for the real estate investing is like we're talking about the guru and the guru gap. We're trying to do away with that.
Absolutely.
So anyway, abrupt stop, technical glitches, it's all good. But thanks guys for being here. I hope
Thanks for
y'all had
having us.
fun. I hope y'all liked it. Make sure you comment, make sure you ask questions, and we'll stick around. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you.